I just heard a church bell ring. It must be 6:30. It's no longer as bright in the morning, so the days are getting shorter. Good morning. I have spent the day yesterday uploading new products to my sales website, and my butt got square, so I got up again early this morning, tidied up the living room after the kids had spent the evening watching TV and stuff. They did most of the work, but there are little things that drive me nuts. And now I'm out getting a good brisk walk. And I had absolutely no intention of doing a video this morning, but then I realized I actually have a very important question that someone's been asking me, and I want to elaborate on that. And so one of the things that I've been talking about recently is what kind of rights do you have to the products that you purchase, right? What can you do to them? What can you do with them? How can you use them to build your business? What I sell are assets, digital assets that you can add to anything that you're creating and then sell it. So the question, or the only restriction really that I give you, is that you cannot just sell the digital asset by itself. If you want to create a different digital or physical asset from that, perfect, you've bought the right product. But if you want to just take the digital asset, download it, upload it to your site with a price tag on it, that's not allowed. So that's the very general way of saying it. However, I wanted to expand on the ideas of what you can do with a product, because there's a lot more you can do with a product than just slap it on a project and put a sales button on it, which is what they were designed for. So one great practice that you can be doing with your business is creating something like a lead generation. I sell physical books, and for the physical books, some of them at least, I'll put, like the ones that I see that are selling have resonated well. I have books that haven't sold in years. That's the reality of it, but I have books that sell consistently. The ones that sell consistently, I notice people are interested in them, and so I notice it's worth my effort to make other people aware that those products are out there and that they might be interested in it, right? So I just increase those sales. By doing that, I just help to secure my income going forward. So one thing I do is I'll create pins, and those pins will go to a lead capture mechanism so that I can communicate with my customers. So the bulk of my products are on print-on-demand service sites like Amazon, paperback books, or t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that, right? All those sites are owned by other people, and I don't do any lead capture on those pages, meaning I do not get an email address and I do not get a name from someone. I just get told that somebody bought something. So I don't know who bought it. And I can't say, oh, that's so cool that you bought it. Show me what you're doing with it, or tell me how you like it. I can't do any of that stuff. But that's really important, because somebody who's purchased something from you might actually purchase from you again, especially if they like what you create. So you can have repeat customers. And if we think about our own consumption, that's what we're like. Try to get my husband to change to a new laundry detergent. Darn near impossible, because he just goes to the same corner, the same shop, same shelf. In fact, he comes home all discombobulated if the detergent that he usually buys is no longer where it's supposed to be. Either it's sold out, or they're just not selling it anymore, or they've put it somewhere else, right? We're like that. We're creatures of habit. Meaning, once we found something we like, we tend to stick with it. So if someone likes the style of something that you've created, or they like the material that it's made out of, I'm just thinking, fabric, the material it's made of, they'll probably gravitate back to that again. If you know me, you'll know that I have maybe 4 t-shirts that I wear all the time. I just rotate them. They're my favorite. At some point or the other, they're going to have holes. They probably look like I shouldn't be wearing some of them already, but I'm a creature of habit. And that's the point of grabbing email addresses, because we can then communicate with our ideal customers, and we can help them in making nice purchasing decisions going down the road, right? So there's that. Communicate with them. The lead capture is also great for allowing people to come into your world in a less scary manner, right? They can come into your world, they can meet you, and they can see what you have to offer. They can judge for themselves without committing to pay for something. Now they do pay with their email, quote unquote, because then I will contact them and speak with them or chat them up or whatever you want to call it. But they haven't invested money. They don't have to worry about, oh, if I don't like this, I can never return it. Is this going to be a hassle? All of those things are taken out. They can just look at something that's going to demonstrate to them who you are, what your work ethic is, what your integrity is, does what's in the box, do what it says on the outside of the box, those kind of things. So that's what lead capture helps me to do. And if you're following me, you'll know that I have one lead capture and it's for free. And it is an Amazon discovery and opportunity guide where I just basically take one niche, and I don't even know why I was looking in the children's activities books, which I have to date still not yet published one children's book, activity book in that regard, since discovering it. But it put me on my summer project with my kids, and we have 2 more weeks to bring it to publish, or actually a week and a half. A dinosaur activity book, because of what I discovered when I went into Amazon and just had a look at children's activity books, and that was insane. Called up my girlfriend who is an elementary school teacher, figured she'll have the insights, right? What do the kids really like? After I did the Amazon study, and she and I came up with some pretty solid concepts of what will work really well, which will please your teacher, please the mom who buys the book, and please the kid. That's like a home run, a triple play. What do you call it? A hat trick, right? Anyway, the point is that this free lead capture should actually equip you with enough knowledge to do something super, super amazing in the niche that I have products to sell you to, right? You may or may, I mean, you can take that report, that free report, and have a great publishing experience without ever looking at my name again. That's the value of the report. But the report is so good that I am confident that I'm going to get new customers because of it. So that's what a lead capture is. What are you doing to help you do that? So I started to create and add assets into my products. I have a new product launch coming up that has boys that I'm targeting this time. And that's thanks to customers who keep saying, when are you gonna do the boys, Andrea? I'm like, So I sat down this summer and got the boys out. And I'm pre-launching a comic book set of assets for boys. But I've added to it elements, and they're just small little PNG stickers, or clip art, I guess if you want to call it, that you can add to your products, or you can create. And this is a suggestion. For me, it was like, boing, why don't I just give this to my customers so that they can start with their own lead capture, right? So you can take these things and create either a guide out of it, a PDF download. So Pinterest is a great place to go. There's a lot of people pinning things that have to do with how do you keep little boys busy? How do you homeschool if you never plan on homeschooling? How do you, whatever, right? All of these things are there, and it's visual, right? So if you can take the elements that I've created and make some really cool graphics, as well as a very compelling lead generation for the people who would buy the books. Well, I'm talking about the books that I publish, but I mean, you don't have to just be publishing books. You could be publishing t-shirts or whatever, right, with the assets that I give you. But well, let's stick with books, because that's what I do. I'm a publisher. So that people are like, dang, I need that book, but I'm not sure if it's going to do what I want it to do. Price tag is XYZ. Let me see. Oh, I can take a free download, a sample, right? So these things can really be beneficial to you, because what happens if you have 3 pins that are up on Pinterest and they're graphically just popping off the page and people are like clicking to see what you're talking about because it's touching a pain point that they want to solve, looks promising, looks fun, looks like my kids will like it, looks like I'll like it. I can feel good at the end of the day that my kids are learning something, right? Then maybe I'll try this free report and see where that leads me, right? Because what you're doing at that point in time, I'll guarantee you, if you're doing children's activities books, for example, I can guarantee you that 99.9% of those people who are publishing activity books right now are not doing this step. What you then have, though, is a children's activities book. Let me give you a little secret. Children grow, right? And they constantly need new stuff, new clothing, new notebooks, new everything, right? So once you have secured somebody who's very interested in what you're selling as a child, if their parents are convinced that this is a good product for the child and the child likes this product, they might be interested in something else that you design. Because whatever it is that you sold is probably consumable or the child grows out of, right? Children grow like crazy. I have 6 kids. I know what I'm talking about. It's insane if I have to buy my kids 4 pairs of shoes in a year, right? I have a sales page up there where I actually have pictures of shoes with children's names on them, on the stickers that I sell to you. So that's a great idea, right? Right? Those are good shoes. You know, those. I also know, maybe you were like me, and I mentioned beforehand that I have 4 t-shirts that I like to wear. When I was a preteen and teen, I had my first pair of Converse high tops. They were pink. And these Converse high tops were pink. And I saved up all of my money that was left over from birthdays. I probably spent on some other stuff. And I remember going into Kmart. Kmart back in the days, I don't even know if Kmart exists anymore. There were blue flashlight specials. And they had one in the shoe department. Finally had one in the shoe department. And I went and I bought those pink Converse high tops. And I was pleased as punch. And I'll let you know that I had not finished growing by the time I bought those shoes. But I wore them, I'm pretty sure, 2 years longer than I should have. A, they stunk, but B, the sides of them, like from the top of my baby toe to about where my bunions are now, there was a rip right down there. And you could see my socks or my feet coming through. I should not have been wearing those shoes anymore. The point is I loved those shoes. Now, what if you created a pair of shoes that had a really cool sticker on it of a name of a kid, right? What if you had it of one of the most popular names of the kids born in the United States? Could that be a really cool shoe to have, right? Now, depending on how popular the name is, if that name is, you know, if there are 3 kids in the class by that name, that might not be so fun and so exclusive. But especially, and this is a mistake that some people make, I give lists of 1,000 most popular names, for example, of girls. I've got, I think, 4 products or 3 products up in my store right now that incorporate those 1,000, top 1,000 names of girls. And most people are like, oh, I'll just take the first 20. And they don't even look at the other 980, which is insane. Because I'll tell you this, the further up you go, like number 863, I don't know what name of that is off the top of my head, but that is less common. Any child who has that name is probably the only one in their school with that name. But there's enough schools across the United States for it to have made the top 1,000. So there's enough girls whose parents could buy you a pair of shoes if you put 823. That name, not 823, but the name represented by that position on the ranking, if you put that name on a shoe. Now, if you put that name on a shoe and some little girl gets that shoe and goes to school with that shoe on their foot, and it's a really cool design and it's got her name on it, first of all, you've just solved another problem for the parents, because there ain't no fussing about whose shoes those are. And the kid's name is on them, right? Second of all, if it's a really cool design, and if you've taken the effort to make a different design, to actually add something to it. So On the very first shoes, I think the first shoes that I created, I put a skateboarding girl on her. She's skateboarding on one hand, right? So if you take really cool elements and create really cool, unique combinations, there goes the rabbit. You can be sitting nice and pretty, because if one girl comes with a really cool pair of shoes and her name on it, another girl, you better bet, another girl in her school, in her class, is going to want those shoes too. And what is she going to do? She is going to go home and say, Mom, you won't believe what number 823 had, what Annalie had on her shoes. I have to have them. And I know that's going to happen because that's how I was at that age. And I think, 99.9%, I'm not different than anybody else. And the world has not changed that much. We're all stuck in the I wish I could have what they had. The grass is greener on the other side of the fence is not a new saying. And the same principle applies here. But we're talking about ethical things, right? Things that kids are going to need anyway. They're going to need shoes. So why not create a really cool design so that they buy your shoes as opposed to someone else's shoes, or giving it to a major corporation that, sells enough shoes already. So that's the frequently asked question, right? If you can get the contact information of somebody who's interested in buying an article that has their boy's name on it, you know that that person has a boy who's going to grow out of whatever it is that you bought, that you sold them now, but who's going to have needs going forward into manhood until he is gray-haired like me. I still have needs, right? I just may not buy a pair of Converse shoes with my name on it anymore. But the point is, once you have positioned yourself to collect that information from other people, then you can actually keep them abreast of some pretty cool things. And you could, if you were targeting children, you could add little anecdotes, or this is what I'm worried about with my children and COVID. These are the games that we've started playing. Be conversationalist, be their friend, be their advocate, and you're golden. You are sitting on an excellent opportunity, and that's pretty cool. So there's a lot to be said about actually taking the articles. If you're interested, the first time I'm doing this is this time now with the superhero comic series for boys. I've taken the top 200, not 1,000, the top 200 names, but it is a much broader time frame. So it's not just a one birth year, but it's the birth years of the 2000s. So 2000 to 2010, that's the birth year. So that was a lot of work, because I had to take the the census information from those 11 years and distill it down to get the most popular name, the second most popular name, all the way up to the 200th most popular name. So in any given year, the number one name is still going to be a relatively high ranking name in the 2 or 3 years below and after that. So this list is actually a little bit more powerful, even if it's not as concrete as for 1 year. But that allows you, with this, the opportunity to really think a bit further with the growth aspect of a child, and move with that and really nail that market. If you don't have any idea what 10-year-olds are up to, or what kids in this age group are up to, you're going to have to start looking at social media through their eyes to see what causes them to just laugh themselves silly. You're going to have to talk to parents of kids of that age and just ask them what they wish their kids had, right? I wish my kids had access to a lake in the summer, because I grew up in Ontario. That's the land of lakes. Canada has so much water, it's not even funny. And I miss it. I really miss it. I grew up, I know how to fish, right? My kids have, well, one kid has fished, I think. I know he's taken a fish apart. But I used to get up way earlier than I am today and go fishing and have fresh fish for breakfast. There's nothing mean, that's summer for me, but my kids don't know that experience. But the point I'm getting at is just talk to parents. What would they want their kids to experience? There is no water here. As you see, I'm in the forest now. Beforehand, you saw me walking through the fields. Those are things that I can't get. But if you were to ask me, I would say, there are other things that I really wish that my kids had access to, a little bit less digital time. So that's why I'm also out here doing these videos by myself, is I want my kids to see me at home without a digital device in my hands. What can you provide in that chasm of what parents are looking for things for their kids, right? What can you provide? And there is more than enough ideas to be had and to be realized. Print on demand is not just books. As I've talked about shoes, you can find skateboard local companies that make skateboards, for example, and you can create a digital design to put on the bottom side or the top side of that through the stickers that I've given you. You can really, there's no limit to what you can do with these stickers, and really thinking ahead to actually serve a market and have a good chance of doing that for a longer period of time. All right, so that's what you're getting with me. You're getting great digital assets, then elements to add to the cool products that you can envision and actually put out there on the market. And I've just encouraged you to actually start with list building. I'm doing it. I'm giving away a free report that will help you to start a publishing business if you haven't, or to consider doing that. I'm not teaching you actually how to put a book together, but it's super simple. It's like taking a PDF and uploading it online. Seriously. The cover images are going to be the challenge, but I got you covered on that. I've got you some really great digital assets to put on your covers to make them pop. And there are many people out there, great people out there, who offer it. I've bought quite a few of them, even though I've been publishing since before most of them started selling how to publish courses. I've been independently publishing since 2012, so now going up to 9 years. But I can recommend any number of someone else's courses. I don't need to teach the same thing that other people are teaching. It is super easy, though, to become a publisher. And with these assets, you can, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And if you look at my opportunity report, you will be amazed at what kind of opportunity there is out there. And that's just one of any possible directions I could have gone. Right? Okay. So I'm getting towards the end of my walk. It's been 20 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you a great day. If you're interested in that free report, go to gumroad.com. One word, gumroad.com/buy-digital-designs. There you'll find everything that I've currently got up and I'm offering. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave me a comment. This video actually was created because of a comment or because of a personal message on Facebook. So wherever you're watching this video, you can give me a message or comments. Comments are great because it helps other people to say, oh yeah, that's a great question. And actually, could you add to that the answer to XYZ, right? It helps us all. Helps me to share information that you might find beneficial, but that other people might find beneficial. So there you go. Otherwise, I'm out of here. I'm at home soon in just a minute, and I'm getting ready to go camping at the end of the week. So I'm going to be rare. All right. Have a great